Welcome to Gambit Underground, where forgotten legends rise, the board is a battlefield, and every move hides a motive. This isn't your typical chess podcast. We tell the hidden stories, the lost brilliancies, and the human struggles behind the game's greatest moments. From blood-stained boards to brilliant escapes, we go beyond ELO. To uncover what really happened, subscribe to the companion newsletter for deep dives, bonus lore, and exclusive games analysis. This is Gambit Underground. Let's begin.
You know, for us chess enthusiasts, there are certain names that, well, they just evoke more than brilliant moves. They bring these incredible stories, right? Stories that go way beyond the board.
Definitely.
And today, we're really diving deep into the world of Ossip Bernstein, a grandmaster whose life, wow, it took some dramatic turns, maybe more than any endgame you've ever seen. I mean, picture this. Your life on the line, not just once, but apparently a couple of times, and chess. Chess is what saves you. It's just wild.
It does. It really is. It's one of those narratives that just grabs you, especially if you love the history of the game as much as the play itself.
Exactly.
So for this deep dive, which is really aimed at you, the serious chess fan, we've pulled together some fascinating stuff. We're going to look at puzzles from his games, see what they teach us. That's from wtharvey.com.
Right.
Then we'll kind of time travel to California, 1984, through old chess newsletters like Chess Voice and Chess Dryad. Get a feel for the chess scene then.
See how things evolved after his time?
Yeah. And we'll touch on a book of his games, break down that legendary game against Capablanca.
Oh, yeah, that one.
And even look at what people are saying online today about his life.
Right. So the goal here isn't just like a biography timeline. We want to unpack the tactics you see in those puzzles, get a sense of the chess world he lived in, and how his influence maybe echoed later.
And highlight those moments on and off the board that still stick with us, you know, those of us who really get into the game.
So let's start with that tactical side. What made his game so sharp, so instructive?
Well, that chess opening series on wtharvey.com is a good place to start. It uses puzzles straight from Bernstein's games. It's a great way to kind of step into his thinking, try and spot the winning ideas. We won't go move by move right now, obviously, but just the fact that his games are used for tactical training like that, it says a lot.
Sure does.
A lot of his games, they show this knack for, you know, finding subtle weaknesses, launching these sharp counters. He was definitely a dangerous player.
So working through those puzzles is like directly engaging with his chess mind, sharpening your own skills on his legacy.
Exactly. Pattern recognition, strategic thinking, all that good stuff.
Okay, so now let's jump forward. Decades after Bernstein's pick, we've got this snapshot, right? Northern California, 1984. This Chess Voice magazine.
Yeah, Chess Voice. Published 6 times a year by the Northern California Chess Association, CalChess. It's fascinating.
What's cool about things like Chess Voice is you see the grassroots game, right? Not just the world championship stuff.
Totally. In '84, CalChess was the official USCF chapter there. You had people like Bryce Perry as chairman. They were really built to the local scene. It gives you context for how the game kept growing after the era of players like Bernstein.
And looking inside this issue, you really get a feel for that community. I mean, sure, announcements and letters.
Standard stuff.
But also deep analysis, a section called Best from Around the World. I bet that was popular.
Oh, yeah. Plus meeting minutes, game analysis, reports on their tournament circuit. It was a real hub.
That circuit sounds interesting. How the circuit works.
Yeah, it was in its 3rd year. You got points for doing well in the big local tournaments, and it all led up to 3 big events at the end of the year.
So they were really pushing participation.
Seems like it. Run by the CalChess board. They even list local organizers, you know, the people who actually make chess happen week to week.
Unsung heroes.
Definitely. And the calendar's packed. Berkeley, Fresno Championships, San Jose Open, Reno Open, even a Marysville Oktoberfest tournament.
Oktoberfest chess. And they even had merch. The Bear plays chess.
Yep, official night design, CalChess gear. Little details like that, they really paint a picture, don't they?
They do. It shows this ongoing dedication. Bernstein played decades earlier, but this kind of local structure, this enthusiasm, feels like part of the tradition he helped build.
Exactly. It's all part of the same story, the ongoing life of chess.
Now, interestingly, in that same 1984 Chess Voice, there's an article specifically about Bernstein, connecting him back to the community even then.
which is great to see. It shows he wasn't forgotten, still seen as this, major figure. The article probably talked about him balancing law and chess, which is just incredible.
Seriously, imagine that workload.
Right. It likely mentions his early days, too, those legendary tournaments. San Sebastian, 1911, where he first played Capablanca.
Uh-huh.
And St. Petersburg, 1914. I mean, that tournament was stacked. Lasker, Capablanca, Alekhine, just giants.
And wasn't there some controversy at San Sebastian with Bernstein and Capablanca?
Yes. Good point. Bernstein actually protested Capablanca being invited, said he was too young or inexperienced, something like that. Had a little spice to their rivalry, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Knowing that backstory makes their later games even more interesting.
And being in that 1914 St. Petersburg lineup, that cemented his place among the absolute elite.
And his playing style, what did Chess Voice say?
Well, based on common descriptions, they probably highlighted his toughness, like a really stubborn defender, hard to beat.
But not just defensive.
No. Also dangerous on the attack when he got the chance. That combination, resilience and sharpness, that's a tough opponent.
Yeah, that blend, that's what makes the greats great, isn't it? Hard to crack, but can deliver a knockout blow.
Precisely. Speaks to a really deep understanding of the game.
Okay, staying with Chess Voice for a second. It wasn't just local stuff or history. They had that best from around the world section, keeping California players plugged in.
Which is so important for anyone serious about improving. Access to top-level games with analysis. That's gold. They mentioned a game, Chekhov versus Boleslavsky, Lvov, 1983. With notes by Val Zemaitis. So readers were getting insights into contemporary GM play from, the other side of the world.
Right. Even without digging into that specific game now, its presence shows they were serious about providing quality content.
Exactly. And they didn't just focus on GMs either. The game section had local matchups too.
Like Steers versus Earhart from Ronner Park, May 84, analyzed by John Silverman. It mentions the modern Benoni defense.
Ugh, the Benoni. Always makes for a sharp game. Very counterattacking.
Yeah, definitely not for the faint of heart. And there was another one, McFarlane versus Shkolnikov from the Davis Open.
See, that mix is key. You study the world champs, but you also study how people in your own tournaments play, what openings they like the Benoni here. It builds that local knowledge base.
Learning from your peers.
Right. It fosters that culture of learning together.
Okay, speaking of local tournaments, we also have stuff from Chess Triad. Reports on events like the Peachtree Classic, May 84.
Yeah, the Peachtree Classic, organized by Leon Taylor, directed by Leonard Sisk, had 72 players. Pretty decent turnout.
And the report breaks down winners by rating class, right? Typical structure.
Exactly. Ensures everyone has a shot at some recognition, some prize money. You see Vincent McCambridge won the Master section, Mark Braverman in Class A, Mike Rabigian. It keeps people motivated at all levels.
Then there's the Stamer Memorial, June 84, also from Chess Triad. This one sounds like it had some issues.
Huh. Yeah, bit of drama. Power outages on the first day. Can you imagine?
Wow. Trying to play serious tournament chess in the dark.
Well, maybe not total darkness, but definitely tricky conditions. But hats off to the organizers, like Max Wilkerson from the Mechanics Institute Chess Club.
A really historic club, right?
Yeah, huge history there. They kept the tournament going. And it still drew strong players, including an international grandmaster, Peter Biasis.
And Biasis won?
Yep, took first place. Romulo Fuentes won the expert section. It just shows the dedication, power outage. The chess must go on.
It really does. It's great getting these little slices of chess life from back then. It provides such a rich context for someone like Bernstein.
Absolutely.
Now, circling back to Bernstein himself, Chess Voice also mentions something called The Great Chess Movie.
Yeah, just a brief review. But the fact they reviewed a chess movie in a local newsletter, it shows the game popping up in, broader culture sometimes.
And what did the reviewer think?
Kind of mixed, it sounds like. Said it captured the intensity of chess well, but maybe overdid it a bit sometimes.
Huh. That sounds familiar. People often see chess as this intense mental battle.
Which it is, but maybe the movie went a bit over the top. Yeah. Still, interesting that it was being discussed.
But the really dramatic stuff for Bernstein, where chess met life, that wasn't on screen. Yeah. That was real life. We've got these accounts, Huppage's Reddit threads, history collection, about him being saved from execution by chess.
This is the story that's just legendary. Almost unbelievable, but widely reported.
The Bolshevik secret police, right? 1918, the Red Terror.
Yeah. Arrested, lined up in front of a firing squad. and the commanding officer recognizes his name, Bernstein, the chess master,
Chilling.
and challenges him to a game for his life.
The ultimate stakes match.
Can you even imagine the pressure?
Yeah.
But Bernstein, somehow he wins, convincingly apparently.
Yeah.
And they let him go.
Just incredible. And didn't some stories say it happened again? Or that his reputation helped him in another tight spot?
There are suggestions of that, yeah.
Yeah.
That his chess fame offered some protection later on, too.
Yeah.
It's just, it shows the power of reputation, of skill, in ways you'd never expect.
It really does. And then his later life, having to flee the Nazis in France, finding refuge again, just constant upheaval, but he endured.
An incredibly resilient person, no doubt.
Okay, let's shift to the board itself. That famous game, Bernstein versus Capablanca in 1914, the Phi Beta Kappa game.
Ah, yes, a classic. Analyzed everywhere, chessgames.com, a gadmater on YouTube.
And this one had that extra edge, right, because of the San Sebastian protest earlier.
Exactly. There was history there. The game itself started as a Queen's Gambit, declined, very classical, but Capablanca just navigated it brilliantly.
Gadmater's video really highlights some key moments. That move rook to c1 by Capablanca. It looks quiet, maybe?
Deceptively quiet, but strategically so powerful. It subtly clamped down on Bernstein's position, prepared future threats. It wasn't flashy, but it showed Campa's deep positional feel.
He just saw things others didn't.
That's Capablanca. And the online discussion often points to move 29, QB2 by black. That was seen as a real killer blow, exploiting a back rank weakness.
It's a game you can just study forever, right? And Kappa won the Brilliancy Prize for it, deservedly.
Absolutely deservedly. It really shows the gap between even very strong GMs and someone operating at Capablanca's peak level. His calculation, his strategic vision, just another level.
As people online say, trying to out-strategize Kappa, probably not the best plan.
Generally a losing proposition, yeah.
Yeah.
His intuition for the position, finding the most efficient way, it was uncanny.
Now, for people listening who want to dig into more Bernstein games, there's a book, right?
Yes, there is. It's called Ossip Bernstein, Grand Maître International des Checs,
Yeah.
64 Parties d'échecs. It's a French edition by J. Sina from 1975.
64 annotated games.
Right, covering a huge span of his career, like 1902 to 1956.
Wow, that's longevity.
It really is. And having annotated games like that, it's invaluable for study. You get insights into his thinking across different eras of chess. It just underlines his lasting contribution.
Which really brings us to his overall legacy. That career length is just staggering. Think of the generations of players he faced.
It's incredible, from guys like Chigarin back in the day,
Late 19th century masters.
all the way to players like Bent Larsen in the mid-20th century, and everyone in between. Lasker, Capablanca, Alekhine, Rubinstein, Nimzovich.
Bronstein, Najdorf, Fine.
He played them all. Seriously, a who's who of chess history for like 50 years, and held his own. Some accounts give him positive scores against some world champions.
And his peak rating, Chessmetrics puts it at 2716 back in 1907. That's elite territory, even by today's standards, relatively speaking.
Absolutely. He was genuinely one of the world's best for a significant period.
So when you put it all together, Ossip Bernstein is just this unique figure, isn't he? Not just a strong GM who played the best.
No, much more than that.
His life story, tangled up with all that history, plus the chess talent, it's as captivating as any brilliancy on the board.
Well said. His survival, his balancing act between law and chess, the quality of his games, it all makes for this rich, inspiring story that, well, it clearly still resonates with chess fans like us.
So wrapping up this deep dive into Ossip Bernstein's world, we've seen chess as, well, literally a lifesaver for him.
More than once, it seems.
We've looked at how his games are still tools for learning today for anyone wanting to get better, and we got that glimpse of the chess culture before and after him.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, the chess enthusiast.
Yeah.
How does looking at these past masters like Bernstein affect how you see chess today?
Good question.
Are there strategic ideas in his toughness or his sharp attacks that maybe click with your own game? Or does just knowing his story, where chess meant so much more than just points or prizes, does that add another layer to why you love the game?
Something to think about, definitely, as you ponder your next move, whether it's on the board or off it.
Thanks for going underground with us. If this story moved you, surprised you, or made you see the game in a new light, share it with a fellow chess addict. And don't forget, the full written chronicles, rare games, and extended commentary live at checkmatestries.substack.com. We're just getting started, and the next move is yours.